Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a stocks to watch video. Today is January 3rd, 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. All right, so let us start with just a quick look at the market. We're going to use the NASDAQ or the QQQ ETF. Um, and as you can see, we had this consolidation period and then a quick little retest. And now price is moving higher, closing 2020 at all-time highs. I think that's just a very, very bullish scenario. And so things look really good right now. As long as we'll call it 300 or so holds in any kind of gyration that may happen in here, I think we're still in an extremely bullish scenario. So we have today 34 stocks to go over. As always, this video is for educational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy or sell any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. So if you enjoy these videos, you could like and subscribe. I'm also on YouTube and Twitter at AlphaCharts365. Okay, so 34 names. We're going to go quickly. Grab a pencil. If you want to write down if any of them look good to you, make the trade your own. First one is going to be Future. As you can see, big up, consolidation, starting as up again. Good volume coming in. This one looks pretty good. Next up, the one that's always on my list, I never buy, Nova. Broke out, cup and handle, still moving higher. Came back, checked back to 23-day EMA. Good accumulation volume. Zoom Info. This was a recent IPO. It's trying to break out. We had a false breakout here. This one got me. I lost a little bit of money. Actually, I think I broke even on this one. But either way, I was in this one. It failed on me, but now it's setting up again. Has kind of this inverse head and shoulders type look. So yeah, if it breaks out above 48, 50-ish or so, Zoom Info. CHX. CHX is in, I believe, the oil and gas industry. You see, it just filled this gap, but it is making like a VCP type pattern here. So a break above 1530 or so. This could be reasonable. And you see some nice accumulation volume coming in here. Next up is PAGS. Kind of a slower mover, but I mean, the trend is definitely higher. So it's closing at all-time highs now, and it looks clear skies above. So yeah, so broke out, kind of consolidated, and now moving higher. That's PAGS. LPRO, Lending Pro. Again, a newer IPO. You see, it's just straight up basically, right? Nice little consolidation period here, trying to break out. Beautiful volume bar right here. So yeah, that's Lending Pro, LPRO. Next up is Sumo, your IPO. This one's maybe a little bit more volatile, but you can see, it's coming back and to test. Yeah, we'll call this area right there. So I think that's your line in the sand. But as of right now, this is just a retest of this area right here. That's Sumo. Again, this is on much lower volume, and the big volume was on the upside. SDGR, Schrodinger. We were talking about it actually back here. It's continuing higher. Now the little pullback right at the end of the year, maybe setting up for a new low risk, high reward entry. Again, very low volume pullback. AHCO, Adapt Health. Just a nice uptrend. Not the most, it's 450,000 shares in there. 500,000 shares sold, traded, so that's not bad. It looks a little thin on the way the bars are, a little volatile, but either way, it's a beautiful uptrend. and now kind of consolidated and let the moving averages catch up. And this one looks pretty good. The Real. They are a luxury consignment, online consignment store. And as you can see, this was a recent IPO back in 2019 and made this gigantic base. It did get rejected right here, right? So now you say, okay, well, around 22 is my new important level, but it may just be pulling back and could be making kind of a VCP or something. Maybe it tags a 23-day EMA, and then I'm watching for the breakout, above 23 or so. I think the real could be pretty good. GMed, Globus Medical. This was an important area. It did break out, kind of retested, moved higher. Now it's pulling back on very low volume, but the accumulation volume in here is pretty sick. So I do love this one, GMed. JMIA. Dubbed the Amazon of Africa. It came back up to the all-time highs. It did get rejected. But again, the volume speaks volumes, right? So I think this one is a great longer term, not long term. If it breaks above, 50, I think this one looks really, really good. Ulta Beauty stores. We had this really hasn't done anything in about 4 years. So now it is going to be chopping around. If it gets back above 330 or 325, I think this one can move much, much higher. That's Ulta Beauty. Ambarella. Just looking at, has this recent uptrend. Beautiful sideways. Volume is just unbelievable right here. So I think Ambarella can go much, much higher with this recent price action. Next up is Pins. So Pinterest, not probably a name everyone knows, had a beautiful uptrend, tight consolidation here, more consolidation here. Did break below the 23-day EMA, but still within this range. So the 65-day EMA is next up. It may just be chopping around, letting that one catch up before this moves higher. We'll see. Go. Yeah, so this is really tight consolidation. Reminds me a little bit of what Celsius did a few months back. But now we have this little downtrend line I drew in here. We have an AV-WAP pinch that's happening in here. I think the risk reward here is definitely in the favor of the bulls if this breaks this downtrend line too, gets above the AV-WAPs. This can go much, much higher. It's got that really, really subtle inverse head and shoulders look here in this narrow consolidation. So it looks pretty good. Again, there were some big players back in September buying a lot of shares. So that's very, very encouraging. Also over here on the breakout, quite a few shares. It did close at the high of the range. So I'm kind of surprised that this fell back in. But anyway, Go looks pretty good. 4. Shift4 Payments, all-time highs, maybe a little bit extended here, but I love what this company is doing. And I would, any kind of pullback or more sideways movement, I think would create an entry. Sometimes the best stocks don't give that opportunity, though. Smile Direct Club, braces, I think mail order braces is what they do. But you see this was recent IPO. We have this base that's creating, above 1425. I think Smile Direct Club could be a good one. EXPI, really love this one up here, moved up, sideways, broke out. Beautiful retest. So of the risk reward right here, right? So again, it could just move chop sideways, but right here, I think this is the important area. So it came back to test it. Historically, the last few months, the volume has been really, really good. A little distribution volume here, but nothing that makes me too worried. Like this one a lot, EXPI. Next up is Inari. Inari Medical, uptrend, kind of a little sideways base consolidation. and then it broke out. It is extended from its moving averages, so we'll see what happens here. Wouldn't mind to see some more choppy. Let these catch up a little bit. It is extended, but good volume coming in, so I like that one a lot. CrowdStrike, everyone should know CrowdStrike. We had this kind of base breakout and beautiful volume coming in the last month or two when all other growth stocks got hit pretty hard. CrowdStrike didn't. So I love the way it held up. So I like CrowdStrike a lot. Next up, it's Brother Zscaler. Very similar look to the chart, right? CrowdStrike, Zscaler. Either one would be, I think, a good option. Again, good volume coming in. Both look great. GRWG, Grow Generation, uptrend, sideways consolidation, uptrend. Keeps coming back into 23-day EMA, and then it keeps bouncing off of it. I think that's your guide. Grow Generation looks pretty good. One Life Healthcare. It's one I like a lot, actually. This was the important area. It did break out and just kind of move sideways, low volume while the market pulled back. Decent amount of accumulation here. I mean, these kind of worry me just a little bit, but I think that the line in the sand is 42, right? If it's above 42, I think One Life Health could go much higher. Skills. This used to be Feek, and they changed their name, and it's a betting and gaming platform. And so, a little volatile. Had this beautiful up day right here. Then you have the down day, then kind of lower volume pullback. So it's still trying to figure things out. But I love the way that this was down big time, and the buyer stepped in on good volume on the last day of the year. To me, that is a very encouraging candle. So I think this one could go higher. Roku. Broke out, sideways consolidation, moved higher, pulled back, decreasing volume, looks good, just letting the moving averages catch up after amazing runs. I think Roku is part of the future in television and movies and everything else. And so there we go. Apps. So Digital Turbine, big up, consolidation up, this consolidation up, and it's just pulling back, low volume, but overall the volume profile looks amazing. I think this one goes much higher. MP Materials is a rare earth minerals company based in the US, I believe the only one. Gigantic run, pulled back. As you can see, it does this every so often. I think it's just doing it again. I think this one moves much, much higher. EXAS has this little cup and handle formation, broke out, came back, never got below the 23-day EMA on much lower volume. So right now this one is still valid. Would love to see it better risk reward above 138 or so. I think that's the place to get in on this one, but still very valid, higher low looking stock. And we could even push this up if we wanted to, like there. Either way, looks really good. Exact Science. Next up is Snap. So big up here, sideways, broke out, just is moving sideways again. So far, it's holding the 23-day EMA. So nothing to be upset about with this one. If it starts breaking down, then the 65-day, which will be in this 44ish area, that's the next level to watch. See if it holds. Penn National Gaming broke out of this beautiful base, came back, lower volume. So again, watching for the 23-day to hold here. A lot of these that we talk about, that I'm talking about, is there was a pullback right at the end of the year, so you have to expect that it's going to come back into its moving averages, which is normal price action. All right, Amazon. So let's go to the weekly in here just so we can see the seasonality here. This is pretty cool. So Amazon seasonally from January through really until the summer months, historically has had very good runs. The rest of the year, not so much. Usually from July, August to the end of the year, it's kind of moved sideways or down. But as you can see, seasonally, it's ready to rock and roll. So we have this, traditionally what happens, July, August, it kind of moves sideways and consolidates and has formed this flag type pattern. And I think it's ready to move higher into the next box area. This is just representation. I have no idea how high it goes. Would love it to hit 5,200. But either way, I think that it's going to break out. If it breaks above here, I think it can move much, much higher pretty quickly. That's Amazon. BLDP has this cup and handle, will break out. It may need to consolidate some more, let these moving averages catch up, but good volume coming in. There you go. And FLGT, making kind of this VCP higher lows type pattern, trying to break out. Really tried hard on the 31st, couldn't do it. So let's just watch and see what happens. Could have one more, shakeout before we do breakout. We'll see. All right, so there you go. That's 34 potential stocks. I really do like when things are pulling back into the 23-day EMA. I think those make pretty good low risk, high reward setups, especially if it's near a special area or an area of importance in the past, at least. All right, good luck this week. Happy New Year, everybody, and take care.